Hi guys, thank you for joining me for this tutorial. My name is Tenaj Nicole, and as you guys can see, I am fully glam. This is the soft glam makeup tutorial series. Astrids is coming up soon, and if you want to see how this is done, keep watching. I'm going to start with my primer. Right now I've been using this Chameleon Strobe. You can see that, right? Yeah, Chameleon Strobe Luminizing Primer. Now, I am not a big fan of primers. I really don't care which way they go. That's because I'm still figuring it out. This has been okay. One thing I have discovered though is that the creamier primers do make the pores that I have right here look a little smaller. So that's what I'm going to start with right there. Working up is supposed to be the way that you're kind to your skin. I've been very unkind to my skin over the years. So soft glamping is a bit of a challenge for me, because you guys know I'm into very bold, defined looks. And I think it's because I think it's like painting the face. And painting my face with just soft colors means I have to understand my features, which is something I'm learning. New year, new me type thing, I'm getting there. But the other thing that I am discovering, because Astrid is much better at a base than I am learning how to apply the base the best that I can. Learning that I do have some discoloration underneath my eyes here. I don't have a color corrector that's actually correct for my undertone, at least for the winter time I don't. So I'm actually going to be using Astrids Fenty Beauty Pro Filter, and this is in shade 210. Now this is much too light for me, but I am trying to color correct without technically using color corrector. I practiced this a little bit and I think it turned out okay. So we'll see if it keeps turning out okay. So I'm going to literally just put it underneath the corner right here where the deep set starts. I do like this Fenty concealer. I don't have a Fenty concealer of my own, although I do have Fenty foundation, but I only have that in my summer color, not in my winter color. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second. And while that's sitting, I'm gonna also try something a little different for me, which is to start with my brows. So what I'm gonna use to first fill them in is using this Ruby Kiss Auto Eyeliner. And this is in black brown. I'm just going to kind of fill in the shape prior to using the spoolie. So small hair-like strokes in the general shape of my brow is what I'm doing. I've seen brow tutorials 100 different ways, and I still haven't figured out the way that I like it to be. So this is just one of them, and we'll see if it works out for today. I'm going to take now the spoolie here and comb up the brows. This is also going to blend down the color that I just placed. Alright, and I am still working in that color. But remember, their eyebrows are sisters, not twins. Sisters, not twins. Okay guys, so you see I blended out that very light concealer, and it is really brightening, which is exactly what I want to conceal those dark circles that I get. I think now I'm actually going to go with foundation, and the foundation that I'm using right now is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear. So I think this trend, guys, actually started when Beyonce became more visible to us, like via Instagram. We never really saw her makeup up close unless it was on like artwork or something like that. We noticed that she always just had this really very done but very naturally done, which is aka soft glam. So what I'm doing is I'm patting on the color. I will go back in with a beauty blender. I am blending it out with my fingers. I found that this really helps with the application of this foundation. I was told this foundation is actually supposed to work with the oils in your hands. So I'm going to spray my blender here and start blending it in. And I am going to go over that very light concealer with the foundation to help start mixing that in, because it kind of did the job I was looking for it to brighten underneath the eye. And you guys, I might look like I know what I'm doing, but I'm learning, just like you guys are. I didn't start wearing foundation until really about a year ago. Okay, so I actually went over the lighter concealer with my foundation, and I think that actually kind of evened it out, but it kept it bright enough underneath there. So when I go over now with the NARS Natural Radiant Concealer right there, this is in Sucre d'Orge. I'm just saying that in a French accent, so it sounds French. I don't know if it is. I'm gonna do my concealer as I normally did. And another thing that I'm learning is to actually let the product sit, because I think one of the main elements of having this soft glam is having a snatched face. which means your skin just looks bright and luminescent and clear. I'm going to be using a different sponge here. This is a rounded base one. This is from Sonia Kashuk. You can find that at Target. The reason why I put this up here is to give my eyebrows almost like a natural highlight by using the concealer underneath there. This little sponge really gets in the corners and allows you to move around without kind of blocking yourself, if that makes a little bit of sense. So now I'm going to go in with some banana baking powder. You can see how much we love this. Both Astrid and I use this. This is the Makeup Revolution banana powder. You can't see the Revolution part because yeah, we've worked on that quite a bit. This is actually called a bronzer brush, but this works really good for getting underneath your eyes. I put the powder in here, tap all that off. Because I'm learning for my skin, less is more. I'm going to lightly dust that on here. And the idea of this isn't for me so much as to set, but to blur. So another thing that I am kind of branching out into is getting my eyebrow game, stepping it up. The tried and true things for those famous Instagram brows is to like kind of carve them out. I'm going to do that, but kind of subtly. So I'm taking the same concealer I use underneath my eyes with this very defined angle brush right here. And I'm going to just kind of make a line underneath because I want definition, but I don't want to look like a Muppet. We all have that friend who goes too far with brows, whether it's overdoing them, over plucking them, too much of something, right? And you guys, if you don't know who that person is, it's you. And just remember, before I used that liner to fill the brow in. That's why there's some color there. And I can say I'm kind of lucky in that I have a good bit of hair there already, so I don't have to think about it as hard, but definitely I'm working on how good they are presented with the rest of a very prepared face. I once heard that someone said eyebrows is for a woman is a hairline to a guy. Getting your hairline right means everything. So I am going to blend this out very much so, because you do want it to look seamless. It's the point of soft glam, right? To look like you woke up like this. I think that's why I was so against soft glam for such a long time, because I'm like, you're doing all the same work but just for like subtleness, but there is some power to less is more, and I'm starting to appreciate it. Oh, that's quite clean, y'all. You made me get southern. Look at them brows. I am now going to put on my eye base now, my tried and true so far, because I'll probably find something else and tell you guys that's tried and true as well, but I do like this a lot. This is the MAC Pro Long Wear Painterly Paint Pot. I should know this, seeing how this is something I promote all the time. I'm going to be using this little, it's supposed to be like a concealer tool, but I have never used it for that, ever. You know how they just be making names up and you swear that that's not what it's for? Astrid and I are going to be doing some brush tutorials. The reason why I like this so much is because I have folds on my lid. So wrinkles, really. The folds. I've used concealer before as a base, and it's fine, but it just doesn't hold on to the colors like this does. What will happen is eventually any colors I place on my lid will get lost in this hole or in one of the three that's right there. So now you guys, I'm actually going to go in with my shadow, and this is usually like maybe a 5-part step for me, but because this is soft glam, I'm going to channel my inner Astrid and stick to like 3 colors. And 3 very soft, muted, well blendable colors. I am going to go into the ones that I've been calling my trusty dusties lately. This is from the Anastasia Beverly Hills collaboration with Jackie Aina. The transitions that she put in here are bomb for me. I can't explain it. She just did something really nice and really well. So I'm rocking with it. So the one that I always put on the outer edge these days is Ginger. So that's this right here. Ginger. And I would say, for those of you who don't really believe in transitions like I did, you have to find the right ones for you. So I'm just tapping into this pretty lightly on one side and tapping off the excess, starting right here in the crease and lightly blending that out. Small circular motions, and I will bring this color all the way over. Now this palette is very pigmented. If you do not have a pigmented palette, you might have to go back a couple times to get this same level of pigment. But the point of soft glam is to be present but not boldly. When I see this, you'd be like, oh, that's what that is. That's what that is. That's that I woke up completely polished look. That's what we're going for. If you don't have this eye shape, I wouldn't suggest that. I would suggest doing it exactly how your eye shape ends. But I have almond eyes, so I kind of let it go out into that wing-esque shape. You guys can see, even though it was a very soft application, there is a difference between this eye and that one. So I'm gonna go ahead and go a little bit deeper into the crease with edges. And edges is right here. Now actually, I believe that edges is more ginger than ginger is, if that makes sense. Maybe sienna. Sienna. You guys remember that color, sienna, from the Crayola box? It was my favorite color, and I think it was because it was the closest color in the box that was to my skin shade. Because brown was too dark, and could have used black, and apricot wasn't my color either. So sienna was the closest thing. So you see, using edges, packing it on this side, using this end of the brush. This is a dual end brush, by the way. Using this end of the brush to pack it in just a little bit at the edge of your socket, like that, but then blend it out almost immediately. Gives it the depth that you're looking for. You want your eyes to look like there's some dimension to them. Now I'm also going to bring edges, tapping it in just ever so slightly, because again, this palette is very pigmented. Pulling it down just a little bit. And I whispered it because that's how soft you gotta do it. Now, this is pretty much it for the transition for me, and so I'm going to put up this Jackie Aina palette here, and I'm going to go into a classic. This is a classic. I used to make fun of Astrid about this palette, but I understand it now. I get it. This is the Morphe, what is this? 3502, and when you open it up, it just looks like a sunset of brown. Just sunset of brown. She was so proud of this palette when she showed it to me. And I jokingly went like, oh, it's a whole 2 shades. But I get it now. I get it now. I mean, I still probably wouldn't buy this one palette. But because it's here, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it. So actually, I'm going for a lid color. And I'm going to be using this right here. This is really like a smudge brush right here. That's what I call it, at least, a smudge brush. It's flat and round and pretty dense. And I'm going to be putting a lid color on. Now I do want it actually just pretty much close to the color that I already have on my lid using the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. But that's this color right here, just at the very top, right there. And I'm going to put this on, not crazy, but you see that looks so close to my foundation. You guys see that? That looks like my foundation almost. But that's kind of what you want when you're going for soft glam. And that is just going to go all over the lid. I remember going to the MAC store when I first got that Painterly Paint Pot, and the lady kept trying to tell me, well, you know, when I was looking at the price, like, do I really want this? Because that was shocking to me to pay almost $30 for a little paint pot. And she was like, oh, you can use it just as shadow too. And I was like, that's really expensive for shadow. You're not selling me on this, but I get it if you're doing the soft glam thing. You really could get away with that being your lid color. So I'm just brushing that across the lid, and because it's such a soft color, I don't have to worry about it not necessarily blending into the transitions that I put on there. I'm calling that the Astrid. This is what she does all the time, and I applaud her. Thank you. Thank you, Astrid, for teaching this to me, because now I can do this tutorial for other people. So the last thing that I'm going to do for my eye, I'm going to actually be using kohl liner. Now kohl liner is something that a lot of people are kind of afraid of, which I get, because it's usually come in this giant stick type thing, and it can be really intimidating. This is the one that Astrid just bought. This is the Rimmel London one, and when you open it, that's it right there. It's a very thick liner, and you look like you're going to get in trouble using this. Like you'll turn into a rock star very quickly using something like this. But I like kohl liner because it's very soft. So I'm just kind of smudging into the lash line. And I kind of go under, and it gives you the density you're looking for without the harshness. One more thing for eyes. So soft glam, I am probably not going to wear lashes because I typically don't wear lashes unless we're doing something for rumor mill. So I'm actually going to be using the NYX on the rise. I like this because it's like the old clumpy mascara, but in the best way. You guys will see what I'm talking about. It clumps, but like not bad. It clumps in a way to give you the volume that you're looking for. And this bristle, I love it. It legit combs. And no, I do not curl my lashes first. That's some voluminous mascara. Okay, so I'm gonna let this dry a little bit and then I'll put a curler to it. I'm gonna go ahead and snap on this other eye really quick. Alright, so you guys see I just put on the other eye there. So now I'm going to go in with my bronzer. And this is Wet n Wild, their Color Icon bronzer in Wet Shady Beaches. They're pretty cute with their puns. I do like them. So I'm just gonna go and put this into my hairline here. And you see it just warms it up down the cheekbone. And I like this more so than contour because I'm not a huge fan of it. Partially because I'm probably still just learning the basics like everybody else is. Contour seems a little advanced. I'm sure I'll get there though, where I know exactly what I'm doing. I just understand contour in an artistic way, not actually applying it to my face yet. So after dusting this on, warming up the skin just a little bit, I'm going to now use a tiny bit of contour. This is the Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette, light to medium. And the contour thing, you guys see, I actually use it quite a bit. That's what I'm going to be using on my nose, that part right there. That's why I'm so averse to using contour, just because they don't really have all the shades that I need. So I just put a tiny bit, you guys see that there? And it just shaped my nose. But yeah, it gave me just enough. And that's all I want for my contour. So that's all I really use it for. I do not like the highlight that is in that whatsoever. It just kind of streaks, which is why I'm going back to the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Powder. I love this stuff so much. You guys see it? Wet n Wild, yep. This is some good stuff. And it's $5. You can't really beat $5. So I'm using a bronzer brush or highlight. I put it right up here to get kind of like the natural places where it's going to hit your face. Alright, so we are headed towards the finish line, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be using the NYX Dewy Finish because, you know, soft glam. And I just spray that. That, like, see, oh, warms it up, makes it look like skin, you know, that whole thing. That's what we're going for. And the last but not least, and actually this is basically like a Wet n Wild tutorial, seems like, because this is the Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit. Oh, one of my favorite liquid lipsticks. So I'm actually going to be using the same pencil that I used to fill in my eyebrows to line my lips. I do this really often just because it's like the mirroring of color. And I don't go over my lips. I feel like I have a decent shape already. So, moral of the story of today, guys, is find your nudes. Alright guys, this is my full tutorial of the Soft Glam All Natural Makeup look. I hope you liked it. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone, so I'm trying things, especially for you guys. So if you would, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and also subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification bell so you get wind of our videos first. And also go to our Instagram, that's @RumorMeal, RUMORMEAL, and that's our favorite platform. So that's where you get the most of the posts, but we also have a lookbook, that's itsrumormeal.com. And we got some pretty cool photos there too. So we're on all the other platforms, Facebook, Twitter, so hit us up if you can. And again, thank you so much for joining me. Have a good one. Bye.